Nick Reiner's attorney, Alan Jackson, just quit the case, and his final press conference outside the courthouse was honestly kind of wild. So let's get into what happened. On January 7th, 2026, Alan Jackson formally requested to withdraw as Nick Reiner's attorney. This is the same Nick Reiner who's charged with murdering both of his parents, Hollywood director Rob Reiner and his wife, Michele Reiner.
Based on the conversation that we've had in chambers and the explanation that we've provided to the court in chambers, we feel that we have no choice at this juncture but to withdraw as counsel and ask to be relieved.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. Before making this announcement in open court, Jackson met with Judge Teresa McGonigal privately in her chambers for about 10 minutes. Whatever was discussed in that room, we don't know. The specific reasons were kept between them, but Jackson did confirm something important. This wasn't him abandoning his client. Nick Reiner actually agreed to it.
And with Mr. Reiner's understanding and consent, would ask to withdraw as counsel of record.
But why? What made Jackson walk away from one of the biggest murder cases in recent Los Angeles history?
I had to withdraw as Nick Reiner's counsel. Circumstances beyond our control, but more importantly, circumstances beyond Nick's control have dictated that, sadly, it's made it impossible for us to continue our representation of Nick.
Circumstances beyond their control. Circumstances beyond Nick's control. That's pretty vague, right?
Legally, and I'm ethically prohibited from explaining all the reasons why. I know that's a question on everybody's mind.
So he can't tell us, or won't tell us. Either way, we're left guessing. Now here's something to think about. There's been speculation that maybe this comes down to money. See, California has what's called a slayer statute. Basically, if you kill a family member, you can't inherit their estate. Rob Reiner was worth a lot of money. But if Nick can't access that money because of these charges, who's paying for his defense? Could that be what Jackson means by circumstances beyond Nick's control? It's possible. We don't know for sure, but it's worth considering.
We expect the public defender to step in. They've already been appointed and very capably protect Nick Reiner's interests.
And just like that, the case gets handed over. But here's the thing. Even though Jackson is out, he made it very clear he's not abandoning Nick emotionally.
My team and I remain deeply, deeply committed to Nick Reiner and to his best interest.
He also had some words about all the media coverage.
A lot has been printed about Nick, printed about his family, printed about the circumstances. Speculation is in print.
And then Jackson reminded everyone how hard he worked on this case.
On December 15th, in the early morning hours, I was in New York at the time, and I got a call. Me and my team, we dropped everything. And for the last 3 weeks, we have devoted literally every waking hour to protecting Nick and his interests.
Okay, I have to say something here. It's a little strange that Jackson felt the need to point out that he dropped everything to take this case. Like, what does he want? A pat on the back? This is a massive, high-profile murder case involving Hollywood royalty. Any criminal defense attorney in the country would have jumped at the opportunity. The exposure alone from a case like this is career-defining. But then came the moment that really raised eyebrows.
What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder. Print that. Print that.
This is an attorney who just quit the case, standing outside the courthouse, practically demanding that the press run with his statement that his former client is innocent. It's a bold move. And honestly, it feels like a PR move more than anything else. Now, some legal experts think Jackson's specific wording here, pursuant to the law in California, might be hinting at an insanity defense. California law does allow for a not guilty by reason of insanity plea. And there have been reports, though not officially confirmed, that Nick was diagnosed with schizophrenia and was receiving treatment at a mental health facility before all this happened. So who's taking over? Her name is Kimberly Greene. She's a deputy public defender with 19 years of experience. She was appointed the same day Jackson withdrew. Greene told reporters she spoke with Nick briefly that morning.
I spoke to Mr. Reiner briefly this morning. He was understanding that there was going to be a change in counsel. We haven't had any in-depth conversations. I only spoke to Mr. Reiner for about 30 seconds this morning.
She said her interaction with Nick lasted about 30 seconds. And when asked about Jackson's bold not guilty claim, her response was pretty measured.
His former attorney says he's not guilty. He's not guilty.
We'll discuss that with Mr. Reiner and see how to proceed.
She also confirmed something interesting.
We've had no contact with the family. I don't think they were aware that this was going on.
So the Reiner family, Nick's siblings, they apparently didn't even know Jackson was withdrawing until it happened. Speaking of the family, they did release a statement through a spokesperson. Quote, "They have the utmost trust in the legal process and will not comment further on matters related to the legal proceedings." And that's it. This actually lines up with what Nick's siblings, Jake and Romy said back in December when they released their own statement about their parents' deaths. They wrote, quote, "Words cannot even begin to describe the unimaginable pain we are experiencing every moment of the day. The horrific and devastating loss of our parents, Rob and Michele Reiner, is something that no one should ever experience. They weren't just our parents, they were our best friends. They asked for privacy, for speculation to be tempered with compassion, and for their parents to be remembered for the lives they lived." There have also been reports from family sources saying the Reiners oppose the death penalty for Nick. One source reportedly said, "Nick is seriously ill. They believe killing him won't bring Rob and Michele back, and it won't fix what went wrong." It's heartbreaking, honestly. These are people who lost both parents and now have a brother facing murder charges. There's no good outcome here for anyone in that family. Now, here's what I keep coming back to. If Alan Jackson truly believed Nick was innocent and that he could win this case, why would he leave? Think about it. This man reportedly has a 96% career success rate over more than 85 jury trials. He got the conviction against Phil Spector. He just successfully defended Karen Reed, who was found not guilty of murder in June 2025. Winning this case, getting Nick Reiner acquitted or found not guilty by reason of insanity, that would be worth millions in future business. The professional exposure alone would be enormous. So if money is the issue, and Jackson really thought he could win, wouldn't he stick it out, find another way to get paid, work something out? The fact that he didn't, the fact that he walked away, it makes you wonder, did he look at the evidence and realize this case might be unwinnable? Or is it really just about money and nothing else? One more thing worth mentioning. There's been some confusion about whether this case is sealed. It's not fully sealed, but certain parts of it are. The judge sealed a list of 10 subpoenas the defense had outstanding. There's also a confidential medical order that was signed in December, probably related to Nick's mental health. And the medical examiner records were sealed at the LAPD's request, so we're not seeing everything. There's definitely information being kept from the public right now, and that makes it really hard to draw any final conclusions about what's actually going on. The judge did allow cameras in the courtroom, but she prohibited photographs of Nick specifically, which is why you're only seeing courtroom sketches of him. Here's where things stand right now. Nick Reiner faces 2 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances, plus a special allegation for using a deadly weapon, which was a knife. The maximum penalty is either death or life in prison without parole. He hasn't entered a plea yet. That was supposed to happen on January 7th, but with Jackson's withdrawal, it got postponed. The new arraignment date is February 23rd, 2026. Nick is being held without bail at Twin Towers Correctional Facility. He was on suicide watch but was taken off before the January 7th hearing. He's still in solitary confinement, though. The prosecution is being led by Habib Balian, who's a veteran DA. He handled the Menendez brothers, resentencing, and the Robert Durst trial. District Attorney Nathan Hochman hasn't decided yet whether to seek the death penalty. So where does this leave us? Honestly, I think the authorities are being very careful with this case. On the surface, it seems pretty clear-cut, but any mistake, any procedural error could give Nick's defense an opening to get him acquitted, and nobody wants that. As for Jackson's press conference, I can't help but feel like part of it was a PR move. The whole thing about dropping everything to take this case, remaining deeply committed even though he's leaving, yelling at reporters to print that Nick is not guilty, it just felt like he was trying to control the narrative on his way out the door. But the real question is, why did he actually quit? Was it money issues? Did he realize this case was unwinnable and decided to cut his losses? Did something happen with Nick or the family that made it impossible to continue? We just don't know. We might never know the full story, but one thing's for sure, this case is far from over. What do you think about all this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was it money issues? Did Jackson see the writing on the wall and decide to get out? Or is there something else going on entirely? Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.